Picture yourself picking up a newspaper in Boston on a cold day in 1839. The city streets are busy, carriages rumble by, vendors shout over the clatter, and there's a salty breeze drifting in from the harbor. You flip through the pages of the Boston Morning Post, scanning for anything in the columns that might spark a smile or a sigh. Suddenly your eyes land on a weird little abbreviation. OK. It stands for Oll Korrect, a goofy way of saying all correct. You might not think much of it at first, probably just a silly joke tucked into the text, but that tiny phrase is about to change the world's vocabulary in a way no one ever expected. Back in the early 1800s, humor in newspapers was a big deal. Editors knew readers wanted more than just dreary news from the factories and the docks. They craved quick bits of wit or tongue-in-cheek commentary to brighten the day. The Boston Morning Post was famous for dropping playful random abbreviations in its articles. Most would pop up and fade away without a trace, like inside jokes that only lasted a day. But when OK hit the paper on March 23, 1839, it stuck. It was catchy and simple, yet somehow had a ring to it that people liked. It wasn't a guaranteed success, though. Lots of odd abbreviations were floating around at the time, things like KC for Nuff CD, enough said, or SP, short for small potatoes. Most fizzled out fast. So why did OK survive while the others vanished? Part of the explanation lies in the presidential campaign swirling around Martin Van Buren in 1840. He was from Kinderhook, New York, nicknamed Old Kinderhook. His supporters turned those initials, OK, into a slogan for rallies, parades, and posters. "Vote for Old Kinderhook! He's OK!" That boost turned a silly newspaper gag into a mainstream catchphrase practically overnight. The surprising thing is how quickly OK slipped into everyday language once it got that push. Some slang terms rise just to fade again, but OK gathered momentum. Historians sometimes argue that maybe it came from other languages, like Greek, Oll Korrect, meaning everything's good, or different dialects. But the first rock-solid reference is right there on the front page of the Boston Morning Post, giving us the best proof of its printed debut. From that day, the word seemed to be on an unstoppable path. Imagine the folks who traveled out west in the 1800s, packing up their wagons in search of fortune or farmland. They brought along everything: food, tools, family stories, and new words. OK was part of that linguistic luggage, scribbled in diaries or letters, popping up in telegraphs. Anyone who ran into Americans began to hear the term, realized it was short and easy to say, and carried it back across oceans. By the late 19th century, OK was almost like a passport stamp for the English language, showing up wherever people traveled. The truth is, OK worked its magic because it was so simple. It replaced phrases like all right, or good enough, or yes, I understand. You could say it quickly, and it felt casual yet clear. It was also flexible. People could slip it into serious conversations or add it to a joke. Over time, some stuck to OK, others went for OK, and others spelled it out as OK. It could go anywhere and still mean the same thing. Everything's fine, we're all set. Fast forward to the space age, and even NASA was using OK in transmissions. Houston, everything is OK. Hard to believe that this little pair of letters, first used as a playful spelling joke, ended up traveling into orbit. It's a cosmic leap from a Boston newspaper to a rocket's radio channel. But that's what happens when a word nails the balance between being easy to say and easy to understand. But let's shine a light on something personal. If you think about how often you say or text OK every day, It's kind of mind-blowing. We send it to colleagues to confirm meeting times, to friends when we agree on plans, to family when chores are done. We type it into phones, tap it on screens, nod while saying it aloud. We rarely stop to remember that every time we use it, we echo an editor's joke from 1839, and that's pretty wild. Not everyone embraced okay with open arms, especially in its early decades. Language purists thought it was sloppy slang, the kind of word that had no place in formal writing or polite conversation. Grammar experts grumbled that there were better ways to say correct or yes or all right, but okay hardly seemed to care. It popped up in letters, diaries, newspaper articles, and conversation. By the end of the 19th century, dictionaries started adding entries for it, sealing its fate as a genuine piece of vocabulary. Shortly after, with radio and TV taking over, okay began to appear everywhere. Radio hosts might say, "Okay, folks, stay tuned." Advertisements capitalized on it. "Buy this product, you'll be okay." Hollywood latched onto the phrase, putting it into movie scripts for punchy dialogue, and once the internet arrived, okay became even more universal. People toss it around in emails, text messages, and social media, or they use different versions. Okay, 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 depending on their mood. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if we didn't have this word? We'd probably make do with fine or all right, but neither of those quite captures that warm, quick nod of, we're good. Fine can sound distant or dismissive. All right might still feel formal. Okay hits that sweet spot of friendly agreement. That's part of why it's lasted so long. It fits almost any situation and accommodates nearly every tone, from cheerful to matter-of-fact. Over the years, okay has evolved even further. In business, people talk about OKRs, objectives and key results, hooking big ideas and goals to these two letters. It's almost funny how this once silly phrase is now a cornerstone for planning and performance in global companies. And when you hear someone say, "I got the okay from the boss," that means everything's approved, full steam ahead. It's become a signal that brightens the path for the next step. Some might wonder if other abbreviations could compete, but none has survived quite like okay. More than 100 years have passed, and it's still going strong. Part of everyday talk, digital banter, business lingo, and so much more. From time to time, you'll see people adopting new expressions or acronyms in internet culture. But okay refuses to be replaced. It's engraved in our communications, bridging any gap between casual texts and formal approvals. So where does that leave us today? Think about the last time someone texted you, "We still meeting?" and you shot back a quick, "Okay." Those letters carried a story that started in a bustling newsroom nearly 2 centuries ago. Maybe we don't always pause to honor that history, but it's there, reminding us that language doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's shaped by jokes, by politics, by accidents, by culture. It's a living, breathing thing we all share. And it's remarkable how one joke, Oll Korrect, became one of the most recognized words on earth. Hardly anybody remembers KC or SP or the other quirky abbreviations, but everybody knows okay. If you think about it, that's a testimony to how sometimes small sparks can ignite a massive flame. One silly moment in a newspaper can ripple across borders and centuries, weaving into nearly every language on the planet. In a way, okay reflects how we adapt, how we reach for simpler ways to connect and confirm. It doesn't matter if we're speaking English, Spanish, Chinese, or Arabic. Those 2 little letters form a universal sign for all good. It unites us in daily life, whether we're discussing big projects or small chores. Some words rise and fall, but okay stands as a shorthand that's proven nearly indestructible. It also shows that history isn't just about major battles or famous leaders. Sometimes it's shaped by everyday folks doing everyday things, like cracking a joke in a newspaper or picking a catchy campaign slogan. And once an idea is out there, it can catch fire if the moment is right. That's exactly what happened with OK. As you sip your coffee or tea, think about that big ripple effect. We might take OK for granted, but each time we tap OK on our phones or nod and say it out loud, we're echoing a story that started long ago on a printed page. We're continuing an unbroken chain, linking us to people who pushed wagons across the frontier, to speechwriters who stuffed rally posters with OK, and to those who first said it over crackling radio signals. That's the real magic, how a casual phrase can travel through generations, shaping the way we confirm, agree, and move forward. However life changes, OK always seems perfectly at home. It's there when we're checking out at a store, when we're wrapping up a phone call, when we're agreeing to plans with friends. It's a friendly nod that says we're on the same page. If you found yourself captivated by this hidden gem of linguistic history, imagine the countless other secrets woven into our everyday words. To discover more, check out the links in the description and the first pinned comment. We've curated some fascinating resources and books for anyone who wants to journey deeper into languages past. And if you'd like to help us keep these stories alive, hit subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment below. Share your favorite usage of OK, or let us know what other pieces of history you'd like us to uncover. Because in the realm of storytelling, every click, every like, every comment is a resounding OK that gives us the green light to keep digging, keep learning, and keep celebrating the extraordinary threads that bind us across time.